Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Playing in Traffic. We do this every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So tell all your people that we talk about anything you can put gas in. What's up, Ray?
Lewis, very good. Good to be back. And sometimes it's things that gas comes out of, but we
Yeah,
uh,
right.
we we cover that too. It's all right.
How was your trip?
Very good. Back on terra firma here, back home. And last week I was sitting in a hotel room in Virginia. But yeah, a lot of truck stuff, man. I was talking to Vince about it. A lot of weird trucker stuff on the road. Uh, Kind of bothers me these days that the new Jack guys aren't as dedicated and
Hmm.
true to form. Someone said this to me, and I always said it too. They said, it was always true that if you were driving, especially on an interstate, and the weather got bad or something happened, follow a trucker because they know how to drive. They drive safe. They know when to stop driving, and
Right.
and they're a big thing to follow. So it's pretty easy. And these days, man, I'm watching these guys cutting in and out of traffic like they're driving a Camry,
Yeah.
literally diving in and out of lanes. And I mean, come on, that is not safe.
Right. I haven't been on the road for years. I've been local here. So now that I'm traveling in the bus, I'm starting to see how bad some of these drivers are. It's crazy.
Yeah. Just to tell you how bad I think it is, I've been going down to North Carolina a lot because I have family down there, and I started going west through Jersey and PA, and then south down 81 to 77 because it takes you right into, uh, uh, you know, kind of spews you right into where Charlotte is, which is where I got to go.
Mhm.
I got to go further south, and the other way is 95, and you come across the state, and 95 I kind of got tired of because of the Baltimore and the DC area, the tolling and the roads and all. But 81 being a truck route, I never minded truckers. I mean, I'll drive with trucks any day of the week. Like I said, I have a high respect for real
Right.
truckers. But now I'm thinking of going back to 95, which my wife's like, gee, it must be bad if you're saying that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's kind of sad because, a lot of people take pride in their license. You get a commercial license, you had to work to get it, and you take pride in that kind of stuff. And then
yep,
now you got people out there that bought them in a cracker jack box, and they're just messing up the industry
yeah.
and making the loads cheaper. I mean, it's just a big problem, like all the way around.
I don't know how these guys aren't getting into more trouble on the road. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. I haven't heard about it, but then again, I'm not really tuned into that community. I would think, like, just on a national level, if it was happening, you'd see it in the news.
Hmm.
And I think you hear about more buses crashing than you do, big rigs. So
Yeah,
maybe they're
yeah,
just
it's
getting
pretty
lucky,
bad.
it may be the people in the cars are so intimidated, and I've kind of seen that. People and I guess I'm an idiot because I'm not as intimidated. So, but my wife reminds me, like, we're not in a vehicle that size. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
Well,
But
I taught my wife didn't have her license when we met, so I taught her to drive and everything. And so we get next to trucks. I'm like, just pretend like they're not there. Stay in your lane. They're they wouldn't be on the road if they wouldn't fit in between the lines.
right,
So
right,
I mean, as long as you stay in between your lines and just keep it
yeah.
moving.
When you're on a two lane, or like here in New York, you go over. It used to be go over the Goethals Bridge between into Staten Island, which they've since rebuilt. It's a beautiful bridge. But I remember my sister, who's older than me, she used to hate driving on the Goethals because we had family in Jersey. We were always going over that way, and it was kind of narrow. And there was always a truck next to you, and she was, and in a big concrete divider, so she always felt
Hmm.
hemmed in. And I wasn't driving at the time; I was too young. But I remember telling her, "Well, what if you just stay in your lane here? You should be okay, right?" She goes, "No, these trucks." She was really freaked out. And
Yeah.
when I started driving, I was like, "All right, I see what she." I even said it this last trip. I told my wife about that. I said, "I see what she means," but again, it's like riding a motorcycle. People that do it wrong look right in front of them, and where you have to be looking down the road. So if
Hmm.
you're driving the car and looking at the truck or looking at the divider, you're not looking at the right place. You should be looking down the road.
Exactly.
You and your vehicle will go where your eyes are looking, you know. And if you
Yep.
it's improving. You look to the right or left, and many times, you turn your body turns with your head sometimes, and you can veer over. So
I found out something new when I started wearing glasses. I started wearing glasses probably 35, 38,
Uh-huh.
and I was driving my truck, and I noticed that a sign was blurry. I'm like, oh man, my windshield's dirty.
Yeah.
So I pulled off the truck stop, cleaned the window, took off again. I was like, man, it's still dirty, but it was my eyes going bad.
Oh,
So when I got my glasses, I found out that when I turned the corner, I would tilt my head,
yeah.
and when I tilt my head, my bifocals would kick in, and everything would get like super blurry. So I
Yeah.
had to retrain myself to keep my head straight when I turn.
You know, I do something like that too. I wear reading glasses. I got them everywhere. And I always wear them down on my nose because I don't need them to see. I need them to look close up. So I'll be working out in the yard or I'll be on my deck, you know, maybe reading something and I want to go into the garage and I got to go down just 2 steps to the ground. Or sometimes I'll come down my basement where I am now and I'll have to go down like, 12 steps. And I got those glasses on. And you always look down to make sure, especially on steps, that you're not stepping on the cat or there's not a broken bottle or whatever. And invariably, I'll always end up looking through the glasses and they're not made for seeing anything at a distance so that it becomes blurry. And I get, I get I get that feeling right away of like, oh boy, I don't have the right perspective, and I got to remember, take the freaking glasses off, you idiot, or
Yep.
because sometimes you just can't look over because you're looking down. So it's just going too fast. You got to learn to slow down. I do.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, but you know what? I learned it. I still don't practice it. So that's the sign of a true idiot. When you make the same mistake over and over and over again and think it's going to change. I mean, I know it's not going to change, but yeah, well. So
yeah. All right, let's get the fellas in and see what they're talking about.
Our
topic today was hot rods or old school.
And I have a thought about that. I said, why can't they be both?
Yeah.
I think you can be both.
Well, actually, with the rest of the mods, that's what you're really getting anyway. You're getting both.
I've been involved in that discussion for years with people over what is a hot rod, what is a muscle car, what is a this or that. And I was just talking to a fellow the other day. The guy did the radio installation on my FJ. He's a Corvair guy and very well versed in all cars. And we were talking about a Corvair and how he was building this high performance engine. He goes, I know that sounds like an oxymoron. And I said, no, I actually got into this years ago. And I said, I gave him my Fiat as an example. I said, you don't have to have a high horsepower vehicle. I said, but in my opinion, if you take a vehicle or a system or anything and maximize its capabilities through aftermarket parts or through tweaking the original parts, whatever method you use, you essentially have created a high performance item. And it could be an electric skillet. It could be, a car. And I said, like, my Fiat is not a fast car, but it has higher performance than any of the stock ones. So, I mean, still, again, don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing it to a Camaro or a big block Chevelle. It's not that. But I maximized the system. So now it's a lot more higher ability. It can produce more, of everything. Miles per mile, fun, a little more power. And people get hung up in that. They think that, high performance means big engines, big dollars. It doesn't have to.
Well, I consider it as having a fun vehicle to drive.
Well, that too, because the high performance in that case is the miles per mile or the the fun factor. Absolutely.
Right.
So yeah, those arguments can go on forever and ever and ever, and everybody has their thoughts about it. Like I said, most people fall in line with what the majority of people think. Yeah, big inch motor, extra heavy duty, and then that was another one, heavy duty. We talked about heavy duty as compared to heavy duty doesn't mean high performance. Heavy duty just means heavier duty. It can play into higher performance, but not necessarily. Depends how you use it. So these are the things. I mean, they're all just talking points, and they're great, to talk, barroom stuff. But once it starts getting heated, then it's like, you know what? All right, conversation's over because now it's not worth it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like your bus, that's now a high performance bus. It does more than the bus would have done when it was original.
Yeah.
Motor wise, and then certainly with fitment wise. I mean, it's a transformation. So
Yeah, and the more I look at things, I want to hop it up. So it's going to be a hot rod when I'm done.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and case in point, that makes that level raises the level of performance, and now it's high performance. So yeah, it's all relative. Yeah, but the thing is you grow up and you learn things, and you kind of get stuck in what you know. Um, like the term muscle car. A lot of people, a lot of the younger guys don't know muscle car is a relatively new term. It really came around about in the 80s. Um, the cars that we call muscle cars today, the 60s and 70s cars, they were called supercars back in the day. All the magazines wrote them up as being supercars.
Yeah.
In fact, Yenko, if you look at the Yenko label on those cars, it says YSC. It stands for Yenko Supercar.
Hmm.
And that's a term that it worked and it defined it. And then it kind of got obscured and went away. And I don't know exactly when. Um, maybe in the mid to later 70s, when probably then when catalytic converters came in, compression ratios went down, went from gross to net horsepower ratings, blah blah blah. And I think nothing really fit the bill anymore. You couldn't say a 75 Corvette was a supercar. you know
Yeah.
uh, and then in the 80s, Muscle Car Review, that magazine was really, really good. They did a lot of stuff. They did a lot of stuff with the 60s and 70s cars and revival stuff and stock drags. And I believe it was them that coined the term. I don't know if I'm wrong. Correct me. I don't know, but I remember that's when I started hearing it, and that caught on. And now everything is a muscle car,
Yeah.
and it's a good name, good moniker, but it wasn't original. It wasn't from back in the day, and people think it was. So
Yeah. Now, when you said that, I realized that they did say supercar. Yeah.
that's why I learned this when I was at work. I love saying that, when I was at work.
Me
I
too.
really love that. I was not the oldest guy in the place, but I was one of the longest term employees in my department at that time. And I had a chairman at a time who I actually hired as a student aide back in like the late 80s, early 90s. And he went on to get his degrees and taught and became our chairman. So obviously he was younger than me. And we had talks in my office. I had to sit him down a lot of times and tell him like the history of the department. Like, no, this is how we've always done it, and this is who implemented it. And like he didn't know because not because he was ignorant, he just didn't know. He was a student
Right.
at the time,
Yep.
and he said, it's always good to have guys like you around who know the history. I mean, not that we're going to keep doing it. Maybe we want to change history. Fine, that's good too. But it's kind of like you have to know where you're coming from to know where you're going, kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
And a lot of people just didn't want to hear it. They just wanted to change everything, and they didn't care about history at all. So,
Well, Cracker Barrel is a good example.
yeah. Well, there you go. You get a new CEO in. Let's change the plan. Let's do it. And I am so happy. And that's the whole thing too. In this day and age, with the political climate, that's where we're at. And I link that too to going back pre-COVID. I remember, the days when you'd be in the bank and there'd be like two tellers, and now you had two lines of people. Somebody would pipe up like, "Hey, why can't we get another teller in here?" Or in the supermarket, a woman would "Can't we get more tellers in here? It's too busy." People were starting to speak up in public, which they hadn't done before. Certainly not in old America. And we look at those people and say, "Who the hell's a loudmouth?" Yeah, we could use another line, but I understand that maybe Tuesdays are typically very slow, so they only put two cashiers on, and now all of a sudden this Tuesday it's busy. Well, you don't have any other cashiers, so it's going to be a little slow. You wait or you leave. But people were speaking up, and now you fast forward to today, through the political climate where it's them and us, or you and me, and it's like just two distinct sides. And you know what? We're not going. Everything is like at odds in battle. There's no common ground anymore.
Yeah.
And if people do accept common ground, it's usually behind the scenes. It's not outward, because then they don't want to have the rest of their side on their back for being a traitor, right?
Yep.
And that's wrong. That's wrong. It's and that's why that's with this Cracker Barrel backlash. Same thing. Enough people just spoke up and said, "Hey," But I think what really did it was their stock. When you lose money, There's
fast.
your answer right there. You can
Mo-
call me whatever you want, but if my portfolio stays the same, I don't give a damn. Well,
Yeah, you lose it fast, boy.
exactly. And like
All
I
right,
said, I was ready to boycott. I was ready to not go back to Cracker Barrel, even though I love the place. And I'm glad I don't have to do that now.
and I was worried about. We love it too. I mean, we eat there when we're on the road. We eat there probably 3 times a week
Okay.
because they're RV friendly.
Right.
So we pull in there, and park, and we eat breakfast or dinner, and
Right.
keep it moving.
Right.
Yep. All right, let's see what the fellas talking about.
Sure.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Ryan,
Hey,
Jim, Vince.
good evening.
Papa
Hi,
Squirrel.
Jim.
Hello, boys.
Papa Squirrel, Lewis.
How's
How's
you all
everybody?
doing?
Ray, did you see the news? They stopped a Werner truck going the wrong way on 81.
Oh,
Hey, what kind of truck, Vince?
Werner Enterprises out of Nebraska
That's a
Really?
big company. Yeah, it's a big
going
company.
the wrong way on 81.
Where in 81, do you know?
It did not say, but they when they finally got him pulled over, whoever it was driving was not very friendly, and they ended up snatching him out.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, dude, you're on the wrong side of the interstate.
And
Don't.
and the driver was pissed off, right?
Well, they didn't go into who was driving. They showed, because there was some video of people going, as the truck drives by,
Right.
getting out of the way, and then they kind of caught him or stopped him under like near an overpass. So they kind of hemmed him in.
Right.
And then that's when they had one literally jump the center dividing wall and run over there, and you could see him going back and forth rather heatedly, and then all of a sudden, trooper opened the door. I'm assuming officer opened the door and removed him from the truck.
Yeah, I would imagine he was in Virginia.
But
Wow, that's
yeah,
crazy.
that happened on 81. I saw that and I went,
My favorite road.
but
wasn't Swift, huh?
no, hey, easy.
No. You know,
I used to haul cars for Swift.
Oh.
I worked for them so long ago when they had an auto haul program, and people don't even know they had one.
I was going to say that. I never knew that.
They had an auto haul program. They had 3 terminals: Gary, Indiana, Greer, South Carolina, and one in California. And that was they had, kind of up, covering the country. And it was, I had fun. I mean, like I said, I went from flatbed into into auto haul, and then I did auto haul until I got out of it. Lewis, it was a cool trailer. The one I had was what they call a 6-pack. It looked like a 53-foot van, but if you looked at it, the rail, which would have been your belt line, was about 1.5 to 2 foot lower. I could take that trailer. It was a steel-sided trailer. I could slide the tandems to the middle of the box and set the ICC bumper on the ground. And it had a steel rack inside on chains, and so I would drive 3 cars in, lift it up, lock it into the walls, and then I would move the ramps over, and then I would back 3 cars in. So whoever had done it, I mean, they had really designed it, because you had engine front, rear, and, you had limits on what the first car on the top of the ramp could be as far as height. Because if it was too tall, then it would sit there and rub the roof on the chassis. But the smart thing was you could backhaul freight with it. If you weren't pulling cars, you could just run the rack to the roof, open the doors and hit a switch, and it would bump it the floor to standard loading height, and you could just backhaul freight with it.
Oh.
And I mean, that was whoever designed that trailer. My hat's off to them. They did they really thought out how to maximize, and it had air ride on it, so it rode like a cloud running down the road.
Nice.
But I agree with you. You see a lot of these younger guys, and hence I like to call them steering wheel holders, because they're not a truck driver. They drive like they're driving a Camry or just a Taurus or something. Just, it's like, dude, that's not a car. The one thing though that does get my gear, and I'll back up and get off my soapbox, because I consider myself a professional driver and have for over 21 years. I'm that guy that I'm in the right-hand lane, doing my, just poking along in a slow lane, doing my thing. And if I have to pass somebody, I'll go to see, and I'll see him coming up. I stop, I get back over, I let him go by. I don't whip out in front of anybody. I wait. I take my time. It's okay. It's my turn to go. I pull out, get in the left lane. I go around them. And inevitably, depending upon where I'm at, some jackwagon, as Arlie Army used to call them, will come flying up and whip around me on the right-hand side before I can get my past and get turned. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get out of the way and pass this guy safely. And yet they want to come up, whip around me from the left. And I'm just like, you know, give me a break.
Yep. Get you trapped in the left lane.
So, you know, that happened.
You out on the road.
That happened when I went to.
I run into too many of people that aren't.
Yeah, when I was going to Morris, when I had that load to Morrisville the other day, I was running up 95, and I got on one section of where I, excuse me, passed a company truck, and by the time I got around him and I'm making my distance, making sure I got room to get back over, here comes boom, you know, whip over, and I'm just like, really? I had like 5 of them whip in between us and pass, and I'm like, if you had sat there for another 5 seconds, I would have been out of the way.
Yeah, right.
People are way too impatient.
You're right, Papa Squirrel. They're too impatient. So, all right, I'm done with I'm off my soapbox unless Ray needs a clarification.
No, I got
I say it's not just you guys in trucks. It's a whole bunch of people. It's way too aggressive, and it's all over the place. I mean, I'm going along. I'm maybe a little bit more than the speed limit.
maybe.
Some kid will go whipping past me, get in the left lane, get in the center lane, get in the right, get in the center.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop it.
It's gotten so crazy. And here lately, I've noticed that they have put no turn on red signs up now more than ever.
Oh, really?
And I think it's trying to slow people down because people don't even stop. I mean, they just if they're making the right on red,
right.
They roll right on through. They're you're supposed to stop first and go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, that's how
that's
it.
a very strange thing because my wife talks about that a lot. And what she says to people, it's a good thing they can't hear, or I'd have to shoot a bunch of them because she'll be driving along and I left that space just for you, didn't I? No.
But I've noticed a lot of new no turn on red signs where, and it's funny now because people aren't even looking, and I stop, wait for and you got people blowing the horn, and I just point up. Look, dude, it says no turn on red, and and unfortunately, the biggest problem with all of this, though, at the end of the day, law enforcement they're not going to spend the time with this, as in monitoring or taking care. Because they're either going to say, oh, it's got a red light camera or there's a speed camera somewhere until somebody crashes and rolls over. I have never seen so many rollovers that we have now. What was it, 2 weeks ago when I was out going to the grocery store, I come rolling up and the guy's rolling around on his roof.
That's what you said. Yeah.
And, you could go over there and you open the door and the guy doesn't have his seatbelt on. He's all tangled up and airbag and everything else, and he's rolling around on the ground, and it's just unfortunately nobody's patient. And I like I said, I had the same problem in the tool truck. I cannot stand a guy will kill himself to pass me on the right to get in front of me to make a left-hand turn at the next light and can't wait 30 seconds.
The laws are different in different states. Up here in New York, well, where I am and Jim is, it's not that. We do have some red light cameras, not speed cameras, and you can make a right on red. Certain restrictions, there's certain restrictions. In Queens, of course, speed cameras.
Don't go in New York City.
Yeah, the boroughs are ridiculous. But down in North Carolina, where I just was, they're way behind. as Vince would know. And my daughter was telling me, giving me heads up, Dad, when you come down here, it's going to be like you're driving 15 years ago because, people blow reds. There's no red light cameras. You got to be careful in the intersection. People are, right on reds. They're not slow. It's not slowing down. So we're out with the real estate one day, and this woman is a real born and bred Southern belle. And Vince should be doing this piece instead of me because he could make the inflection a hell of a lot better. So we're in her Lexus, and we get up to a big intersection, and we make a right on red. And I said, "Hey, Sylvia," I said, "Gotta watch it there." She goes, "Well, what do you mean, honey? What do you mean? I gotta watch what?" I said, "Well, you rolled the red." I rolled the what? I said, "You rolled the red." Rolled the what? I thought I was in with my cousin Vinny. I was like, "You rolled the red light." I said, "If you were up by me, certain intersections, you'd get a nice little summons in the mail telling you owe them, $7,500 or whatever." They don't look at that kindly. We caught up with that. She goes, "Oh no, I didn't." I said, "Listen, I beg to differ." I said, "And I'm not going to get my wife involved in this." I said, "But yes, you did." I said, "You do it so much, and you did it very well." I said, "You did it very well. You didn't just blow it. You rolled it. You rolled, looked, and went. I get it. I know the move. I used to do it myself."
Ray, did she tell you to bless your heart?
No, she did. She didn't. So that's how I knew I really didn't get too pissed off. But she was literally. It was almost like I was a traffic cop telling her this. She was like, "No, I didn't." "Yes, you did." "Oh no, I did." "Oh yes, you did." She really did. I said, "Pay attention next time when you drive." I said, "I realize that's the pattern down here." I said, "And up by us, I'm just saying, it's just." And I told her, I said, "It's actually helped make me a better driver, I think, because now I watch for that stuff, and where the red light cameras are by your house, but you don't know where all of them are. I mean, there is a sign usually. I think, is it 500 feet, 1,000 feet from the light? Jim, do you know what the regulation is?
I don't know what the regulation is, but usually there's a sign like just before you get to the intersection. It basically says photo enforced.
It's probably not 1,000 feet. It probably is 500 feet or 250 feet. So sometimes you can easily miss it. But that's made me stop on yellows that I would have otherwise taken, because I've gotten a bunch of those. And they send you a ticket in the mail, so you pay the fine, you pay the fees. There's no points on your license, so that's the payoff to you. And you just pay it, and you go. But it's made me stop on yellows now where I wouldn't. So I told her, I said, it's kind of like Pavlov's dog. They're teaching you by hitting you in the wallet. I said, and it's a good thing, because now, they were afraid. Everybody was afraid there's going to be so many more rear end accidents. One place still claimed that they found. I think in Florida they said that, but I don't know. I said, and I didn't see that happen. I thought that was going to be a big problem, and I didn't see it happen here. So yeah, it's just funny when you drive around now. Different areas, you see what's common, what's not.
Well, the reason they have so many rear enders in Florida is half of those drivers can't see.
They're retired.
Right.
I was down there. This is 30, 40 years ago.
Don't they call those people Q-tips?
Yeah, I've heard that, Jim. Yeah.
All you see is the white hair.
Right. Q-tips in heaven's waiting room.
I went with her grandfather to the bank. I got back to the house and told my wife, "I'll never ride with your grandfather again. He almost got us killed every block."
Yeah.
He couldn't see, and they gave him a license.
Well, they gave him a license when he could see.
Oh no, I don't think so.
He had to re-up it. Yeah.
Florida's really weird. They got so many retirees down there. I don't think they know how to drive.
Speaking of Florida now, the new story in the news this week was now how DeSantis has put in, there's going to be ICE stations at every way station. It's going to be an ICE something or other. Excellent. So.
Papa Squirrel, when I lived in Florida, God, probably 20 plus years ago, they had a state legislature, one of the state guys that wanted to address that very thing. Listen, we understand that the west coast of Florida forever has always been called the home of the newlyweds and the nearly deads, and that so many people that move there might have, like I said, might have been in their 70s or late 60s, 70s, and get along and drive well. But as they just keep auto renewing, and the vision starts to get a little dimmer, and they were wanting to go, like, once you reached a certain age, they wanted you to come in every year and just do basically a quick vision test and a comprehension test, which I was all for, because like I said, you see these folks and they just, like you said, they can't see, they can't, their hearing's a little messed up, so they just, that spatial awareness and all that, and it's unsafe for them as well as the people around them. But man, you got AARP and all those old folks started fussing and raising Cain, all that.
God,
You're
yes.
violating our rights and that. And it's like, folks, it's a safety issue. If you're blind as a bat, God love you.
Right.
You don't need to be driving.
Well, I think that was the first comeback they should have had right there was, driving is a privilege. It's not a right.
Thank you,
That is
Ray. That's
true.
what I was going to say.
No. And
Hey, Papa
yeah,
Squirrel, I think you got a fingerprint on your screen, on your camera.
something is blurry up
I
there.
don't know what it is, but it is blurry as hell.
I know it's not my eyes because everybody else looks good.
It just, all of a sudden, it's blurry. I don't think my computer's going again.
Have you tried changing the settings on the camera?
Take the blur filter off.
Because when I throw mine on, it comes up at a 480, and I can go in there and click it to like a 720, what I have now, so it's a better image.
I'll have to.
Is that why you're so sexy, Vince?
You look very good, James. Very good this week. Excellent.
But no, one thing, Ray, you were talking about when your sibling was driving and the trucks would pass.
No, I was
Talking about being on the bridge.
Oh,
and
my sister, that's years ago. Yeah.
Driving next to a truck.
Right, yes.
I used to get into, when I was in school years ago with, getting a license and all that. And we would be, because even back then you had to have so many hours of class work, so many hours behind the wheel with a license holder, and just to prove that you could maneuver and drive the truck and all that. And I remember we were going somewhere out of Charlotte, and the guy that was riding, I was doing my turn, and the guy that was in the thing, he says, don't be moving all over the lane, because there was another truck that was coming up by us.
Right.
And because like I said, those trucks were governed at like 65. Now we're on 77 or 85. I can't remember which but we're on the interstate, so we're tooling along. So we had another owner operator, another truck come by us with more speed.
Yeah.
And he started hoofing and poofing at me. Oh, you're all over the road. This, that, and the other. And now, mind you, my hands didn't move. And when he went by, I'm trying to explain to this guy who had no concept of air and air movement.
Oh, yeah.
When he went by, he was pushing air off of that same, 53-foot trailer and a 20-foot truck. He's pushing air off of the truck. And when it hit us, of course, air moves things around because we're also of comparable size. So when that pressure wave or air wave hit us, it moved us. Well, he started yelling at me, and I went, and I think I might have been a couple years older than him. I just said, listen, dude, I'm not moving all over the truck. I'm being moved by just by him displacing the air as it goes by. Just like a battleship or a Navy vessel, they don't float. They displace water.
Yeah.
They displace more water than what they weigh. So, but no, I thought about that when you were talking about when she's mentioning the trucks would go by. Those things are moving air, and they will move you in the lanes.
I think with her it was really a spatial thing. She felt kind of boxed in and wouldn't know where to go. But to your point, at the school, since we were the engineering department, we were involved in this thing called concrete canoe races. And what you did is you built the canoe with lath and wire, but you skinned it in concrete. And people would say, "Oh yeah, that's got to be a joke. That club's a joke. How can you float a concrete canoe?" I'd say, "How's a battleship float?"
It displaces more water than it
Never
weighs.
thought about that. That's a hell of a lot heavier, right? I said, "Yeah, it's actually it's all about ballast and displacing water and not tipping over." So, and they actually were pretty light because we used micro pellets, and it wasn't really like driveway concrete. But more of them fell apart or broke than stayed together, to tell you the truth, because everybody was trying to get the lightest boat they could, figuring the lighter boat like a car, make it lighter and you can go faster, but you still need structural.
Still got to have some rigidity and some strength.
Yes. So there was always that fine balance, but it always got people, and that's how we got people in the club, because they'd say, how the hell do you make a concrete canoe float? Come to the meeting and you'll find out. Sign this sheet right here, and you'd get them and sucker them in. That was like the early, that was what, like it was the college level of clickbait, I guess, because, they just had to be clear.
So Brian, did you talk to Terry about his upcoming adventure?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I guess it was Sunday. Yeah, I guess it was Sunday. Looked down on the phone, it was ringing, and it said, Coverman 66. And I was like, man, what? Terry must have butt dialed or something. I mean, I don't, I was like, hey, Terry, what's up? He's like, hey, what's up? I just got to let you know, you're the first person I got to call. So he goes, this is top secret. And I'm like, man, what happened? He must have hit his head or something. I don't know. I was hoping he was going to be on tonight to talk about it.
Yeah, he'd probably sleep.
You can't break the news? Not allowed?
I don't know if I should.
Yeah,
right.
we'll wait for him.
All right, good, yeah.
Said you've been embargoed. Can't speak.
Yeah, I was like, man, I said, you're telling me something that, man, I just can't wait. I had to run up to the McDonald's off of 95 up here and write it in the bathroom wall. So, Ray, when you come down, stop off at that McDonald's, and you can read it, because I had to write it on the wall, man. I couldn't believe it.
All right, well, hopefully Terry will be on before I'm back on 95.
Well, we'll get him on next week for sure, and see if he's ready to spill the beans.
Long
that was
distance
kind of
information.
funny.
So how's your car coming out, Brian? You get any headway on anything?
Well, actually, I was really happy. I haven't gotten my tool truck back. So we're waiting for parts.
Jeez, parts. Well, you're going to get me started on parts again.
Yeah, well, and like I said,
I have parts stories.
I don't know. I'm very lost, and I've lost a lot of money. I don't know how else to say it, but
Brian, Kenworth,
trying to,
I said Kenworth has had my truck for a week.
Dude, I tell you, I'm
waiting for a death pump.
Like I said, waiting for parts, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, there was a few things that I did on the truck because I had to get it running, and it may not have been textbook, but it got it running. And like I said, it's very hard for people to understand, because people are like, well, just take it to the shop. And it's like, dude, when this is your money, it's gotta, you can't just say, okay, and wait, and here it is. I mean, but I was actually, like I said, this was when Terry called me, that was the first weekend, and 5 weeks I was able to work on it, on the car. And I mean, like I said, I really, like I said, I get it's unfortunately I have to move so much stuff beforehand. So like when I say I'm going to work on it, it's a good hour getting the shop ready to go, and then it's 5 or 6 hours on it, and I get a lot done. I like to get a little bit more done, but hell, I was funny because I was actually thinking of Terry when he called, and I told him, because he had talked about the rotisserie, and he said if I'd come up, I'd get it, and I said, Terry, you must have been reading my mind because I was going to tell you that rotisserie because hell, I hate climbing up underneath that car and coming back out every 10 minutes, man.
Yeah.
It's rough.
That's and I broke my readers, so I don't have my. I broke my. I see. I don't have my as the girl says. I don't have my hair piece to keep my hair out of my eyes.
You know,
Right.
I have a pair everywhere. I got a pair here in the basement. I got a pair in the garage. I got two pairs in the dining room, a pair in the kitchen, a pair in the den, and I even have a pair in the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I normally do also, but like I said, I either break them or I put them someplace where I'll remember where I put them, and then I can't find them.
You know what I want to show you? I want to show you this. These things are made by a company called Thin Optics, and you go on their website, and what you do is you print out a pattern, and then you determine at a certain distance what you can see, and that's how you decide what power you need. But these things, it's just this. They just go over your nose.
Yeah.
So, and I tell you, my store says, they look kind of stupid. Well, you can stick them in a wallet, you can stick them in a pocket. But the beauty of it is I found out when I'm under the dashboard of a car, they stay there. They don't fall back on my head. So they really come in handy for being under a dashboard or under a sink or under whatever you're being under.
I might look into those because I had...
the only problem is you can't take them off and stick them on your head.
Yeah, well,
you can't do that.
The biggest problem is when I'm welding. Now, I did put the cheater lens in on the welder, so I have. They make a lens to go in on the, magnifying to go in on the lens on the inside of the welder when you're welding on your mask.
Yeah,
and it's okay. I mean, like I said, but there are a few times where you get in that funny angle, like you said, and you can't. You're either too far or too close.
Yeah.
But, like I said.
Well, that's what gets me. I'm up under the dash or somewhere close, and you can't really move, and you got to see something, but now it's out of focus because it's too close. I'm like, God damn it. I can't do it.
Hopefully, like I said, I just like to hopefully I get some more. I mean, this weekend I kind of said that I was going to put more time on the car. I was going to try to do both Saturday and Sunday. But I did get a phone call. From the guy finally, and he said the truck might be done. So
nice. Might be done.
I hope, because man, I know it's. I get the truck back, man. It's going to take me. I don't even know. It'd take me a whole day to get the truck back together. So.
Yeah. What was going on with it?
Well, I had a turbo. Well, first it was a turbo issue, and I had put a turbo on it, and it ran okay. It wasn't 100%. But as about a week and a half had gone by, 2 weeks, I noticed that it just really wasn't running right.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it has electronic vane controller, solenoid on the side. Of course, the only way to get the electronic part is to buy a turbo. Now, I understand if you look in the aftermarket world, they do sell the electrical portion by itself. But, it's something off Amazon or whatever,
Right.
And so, and I had a code that I couldn't get rid of. It was PO 045, which is that solenoid controller.
That's the PO fuck you code.
Yeah, and so what happened was, of course, like I said, you talk to 15 people and you got 18 different devices. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just, you couldn't find anybody to, and so long story short, from I could not get rid of that fault code, and eventually the truck went and defunk or derate and wouldn't go 5 miles an hour, and I couldn't clear it. And then they said that it needed to be flashed. And this guy that you know, I found him because he had the software. He had software, which was another thing, because I even started looking, and like the software was like $3,200. It was $280 for a cable. You had to have your own computer, your own laptop, and you had to pay $99 a month for subscription or fees. You know.
Jesus.
Wow.
And you know, I'm you know, like I said, I came really close on getting this stuff, you know, because I gotta get the truck running, and this guy had the software. And actually, the crazy part, my generation or my time period, you have Isuzu Japan, you have Isuzu China, you have Isuzu North America, you have Isuzu rest of the world. So, you know, you have like 4 different platforms.
Yeah.
And so the guy said he had a couple different variations of the factory software. And I give him credit. I mean, he came down, he spent 3 hours climbing, you know, messing around with the truck. And he clearly, the one thing I liked about the software, he went right in and it said turbo off. It turned the turbo off. And when he tried to turn it on, it kept turning it off. And he said, we're going to have to do something. We're going to have the, you know, scanner, the ECU reflashed. And he goes, I can't do it here. We got to have the truck at the shop. And so I towed it up there. And I think he was, you know, a little bit taken because he thought that he was going to be able to get it right away. And it just turned into a rolling
mess. Yeah.
Mess.
Yeah.
And it's like everything else, you know, it's 10 years old, 100,000 miles. And even though there's not a lot of, I have tons of hours. If I have to look when I get back with my hours, you know, my hour meters to see what the truck really is mileage wise.
Yeah.
Because the truck idles all day, which is absolutely with this new with the emission stuff is terrible for these trucks. The heat.
You need a decommissioned SWAT van. Yeah.
Well,
no, it's black, not white. I tell you something. I was in a guy's shop. This guy did the radio install for me on my FJ. This guy does a lot of different stuff, and we were talking about scanners and how he just bought a new Autel and a launch, and you know, we were talking about that. And I said, hey, you know, he was talking about not needing everything. I said, do you know about the macro scanners where you could do subscription-based stuff? He goes, no. So I was telling him all about it. I thought I had a sale going there. I thought I had a sale for you.
Yeah.
I still might. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, you know, like I said, unfortunately, one scanner doesn't cut it anyway. So,
right.
You know, there's always multiples.
Well, the thing with him is he's actually not a real like mechanic shop. He's a radio, and you know, it's called radio and security. He does radio installs, you know, backup cameras, alarms, stuff like that. But he's always doing, you know, changing, you know, window motors. And I was with him today, and the guy calls up and said, "Yeah, I got your number from someone. I got a 2016, I think it was a Tucson or something, and my sunroof leaked. And what happened was, you know, it leaked down to the floor, and you know, everything got wet, and now my dash is lit up, the sunroof doesn't work, and I can't pass inspection. Can you help me out?" I said, boy, how much water was in there? Well, I vacuumed out all the water out of the carpets. I couldn't get it all. And he said, you know, did you take the carpets and the seats out to get underneath? He goes, no, I didn't go that far. He goes, well, then you didn't fix the problem. Yeah. And the guy even said, you know, there's a trough in there where all the wires run, and that's probably where the problem is. So afterwards we were talking. He says, yeah, obviously he's had this car to 3 or 4. He said no one else has looked at it. He's probably had 3 or 4 places, and they took it partially apart, so he knows that much. and now he's just trying to find somebody who didn't turn him away. And he's actually going to look at it. He says, you know what? Yeah, give me like 2 weeks. I'll take a look at it and see. And he says, you know, I've done work like that before. It sucks. I don't like doing it. It's tough work. He says, but it's kind of, you know, he's one of those guys that's always up for the challenge.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I can get that thing working, you know, and not that he toots his own horn or anything. He just, it's a personal thing. I said, man, I give you a lot of credit. That's good. So, like I said, I was surprised that he even needs a scanner in what he does, but sometimes he has to, you know, reprogram something or.
Well, that's the only problem, and it's getting actually it's getting very difficult now if you don't have a scanner, because this new stuff, and like I said, this actually, you know, back from 2016, you know, there was a Chrysler product. It was in a radio. It was in a body shop, and it had active braking on the car.
Right.
And the body shop that did it did not know how to, you know, they didn't have the targets. They didn't know how to.
Right. The ADAS system.
You know, the ADAS, they didn't know how to do it. So, you know, it's amazing how much, if we just, it's just like me doing the playing around on the tool truck to get it running.
Right.
You know, we can cut every corner to make it work.
Right.
Instead of just taking the extra 10 minutes to learn and fix it correctly.
How to do it right, yeah.
Right, and then we wouldn't have this problem. But we're so, it's just like back in the day of trying to undercut flat rate to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just taking the 3 minutes to do it right, we'll spend 30 minutes to try to save us 10 minutes on the flat rate, you know?
You know, the other thing, Brian, that a lot of people, it's lost on a lot of people. This is why mechanics go to training school, you know, to learn this stuff so that they can adequately diagnose and fix a problem on a complex system.
So
the shop guys don't have that ability. You know, they don't have that
right. Well, again, it's, you know, nobody, I mean, they don't want to put the investment in, but so make a long story short, the guy, the shop had gotten around the system and got in and turned it off. They were able to turn it off. And the guy picked the car up, went down the road, crashed the car, and died.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it turned out that they went after Chrysler, and then, of course, the black box. And, you know, the Chrysler got in there, and they said, well, somebody turned this off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't their fault. It was this body shop that had gotten involved.
Right.
But they, you know, again, they didn't know where. It was over years of going down to find. So there's a company, there's a third party involved. It's Auto Off. I think it's Auto Off, that you have to register your scanner to. And it's a third party. And all they do is bookmark who was in the car last.
Yeah.
So that when they have a problem, they know who was the last person in the car. And that's why, like I said, Dodge, Chrysler was one of the first ones, Daimler Benz, Jeep, you know, that group. And then Ford's had it for a really long time. Ford's had it probably about as long. They just haven't turned it on. They haven't gone. Lexus, Toyota, and I think not Nissan. What's Mazda, which is Ford, and Honda. I think in 2026 and 2027, they're going to start going with that in their car. And basically, it's not going to let you do shit. You can go in there and look and see, but they're not going to let you, unless you register your scanner, they're not going to let you go in and reset or change anything. And it's just a protection. It's a third party watching. I think most applications you can have like 4 or 5 scanners register. It's a $50 a year type thing. And this all also started, it's like Ford, Chrysler. I mean, they all have it. They all have their own internet. When you plug in, Ford knows that you're plugged in to their car. They know it's got its own
Wi-Fi.
So it's just a protection because people get in there and they turn this stuff off. They don't tell anybody. They change.
Yeah.
That's.
I had something like that interesting happen to me yesterday, along that vein. Not exactly, but I, with my parts problems, 2 major companies have not returned my phone calls or emails about wanting to buy their product. So I just did a Google search, 65 GTO electric fan and shroud conversion. And those companies came up in the search, like I figured, and so did Summit and Jegs. But another company came up that's up in Buffalo, New York. It's called, what the hell's the name of them? Shit. Let me see. Let me look at the receipt. Wizard Cooling. I think I've seen a sticker somewhere to show whatever. So I said, okay, they're in New York. Let me get a phone number. I call them up. Guy answers the phone. Talking to Scott. Find out what I need. And as he's talking to me, I have the website open. I said, Scott, what's the part number? I type it in. Boom. I look at it. Like, okay, that looks like what I need. There was something else. I put the part number in. And then I was, going to make the order. And there was a thing to, put a discount code. I said, hey, Scott, what's the, he asked me for a discount code. He goes, oh, yeah, I see you put both of those in your card already. I'm like, whoa, really? Like, holy shit. So he says, yeah, it's already taken off. Just put in your other information. We're good to go. I'm like, wow, that was creepy. Yeah. But, and I ordered it from them. So,
yeah. But, yeah, like I said, it's just, and now I got a guy that I talked to today. I got a guy. He's got a scanner. He's got one of our scanners, and I said, you need to update your scanner. And he goes, well, how do you know that? And I get a list. Now I get a list. Now I get a list from the scanner saying, hey, I'm not updated.
So you're the big brother.
Yeah, so I'm falling in that big brother thing. But I told him, I said, let me guess. He's pretty laid back. He's not super hyper or wound up. I said, so let me guess. You had maybe a 2020 Chrysler in here or a Jeep, and you couldn't get in it. He said, the other day I couldn't get in. I thought it was a bad connection. I thought it was a bad OBD2 connector.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's because the car's they're not letting you in because A, you're not registered, but also your scanner's not up to date. And, again, we've taken things to the nth degree of overcomplicating everything. Nothing is simple.
Right.
And it's hard because these guys, it's amazing. And this is what, I'll have to get off my soapbox here in a minute, but the shop owner hires a guy that wants to have, that has a scanner because he doesn't want to spend the money. He wants to reap the money. He wants to reap the rewards of that. Yeah. But this guy that's being paid nickels compared to what the hourly rate is, and he's got to pay $1,400 for a software update every year.
Yeah.
So, and these guys won't do it because they're like, I'm not going to do it for the guy to make money, but then he can't do his job. So then you got the guy that spends the time trying to get around the system to turn the light out. Right. Remember the old days of just taking the light bulb out, right? Couldn't turn the light off on the check engine light?
Right.
So you can't do that on some Fords. I had a check engine light that was burned out and my truck wouldn't start.
Yep. Oh, wow.
Well, I want to tell you something. I had a guy, he had called me, and I told him I really didn't have time. I mean, I'd look at his car over the weekend if he wanted me to. I just didn't have any place to put the car. And he had an older Jag. and he had put alternator after alternator after alternator after alternator on this car, battery after battery after battery after battery. He even tried to change it because it was an older Jaguar. It was like a 72 or something, 70. Reverse polarity. Negative is ground, negative is positive, and positive is
reverse ground.
You know what I'm saying? And, he's messing with it. He's not, he's not super mechanically inclined. And I told him, I said, it's probably something like maybe your charging light's not on. When you turn the key on, do you have a battery light or a charging light? He goes, I don't know. I don't think I've ever had one. And I said, well, maybe you should look.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I didn't hear from the guy. So I go into one of my shops, and one of the old guys there, he's like, man, I had this car from hell the other day. And I was like, oh, what was it? He said it was a Jaguar. And his boss was standing there. And I said, did you put a light bulb in the dash? And the boss looked at me and said, you knew that before we even said anything? And I didn't let him know that I knew about the car, but I was like, as a guy that knows, I mean, if it was a manual, most likely if it would have, because we had this problem with the German cars, if it was a manual car, he probably never had a problem because he would have gotten the RPMs up high enough, and the alternator would have created a field, and it would have started charging.
Yeah.
When they spin up over 4,000 RPMs, they'll create a field themselves, and then it starts charging. Automatic never gets up high enough, so that it won't charge. So, but again, somebody when he bought that car, it probably had a light on the dash that wasn't turning off, and the guy said, "Oh, we'll just take the bulb out. No light, no problem."
Right.
Go start.
I swear Volkswagen had something like that.
Yep, Volkswagens. Yeah, a lot of the German cars had that light, and if it didn't go out, or that was the ground for the alternate, for the charging system.
Yeah.
My Ford pickup was I want to say it was a 99, maybe 2000 Ford F-150.
Yeah.
And that light was out, and it would not start. And an old guy walked up. He goes, "Oh, check your light." Check the light. Started right up.
Ryan, is that a Ford color on that Mustang?
Huh?
Is that a factory color on that Mustang?
No, that's epoxy primer. That's that. What is that stuff, Ray? It's
Sikkens acrylic enamel.
Yes.
It's got a hardener in the primer.
I'm familiar with the Sikkens line of paint, so
yeah.
This is
that's Sikkens
30
from
years old, man. This stuff is hard.
That's Sikkens from the 80s. I had the same. I did my motorcycle and my first Fiat, the same way.
You don't want to lick it. That's got some lead in it, baby.
I drove the car with that stuff for a while, and actually, when it got painted, I told the story. A motorcycle fender fell off off the top of the garage and hit it. When I went back out, I saw the paint and the primer just dented in with the metal. It did not crack, didn't blister. It was phenomenal. Good stuff.
Because that that two-door that I'm working on now, that's close to the factory yellow, because Mercury called it one thing and Ford called it something else, like Wimbledon white, which was the same color for Ford. Mercury called it spring, like they had a different term for it. It's like it's the same color.
Yeah,
I guess Mopar was guilty of that too. They when they had the crazy colors, Plymouth, Dodge, Chrysler, they all had different names.
Well, they all had their own name. Yeah. No, but all the GMs have divisions that even with the regular colors, there was a like a Night Watch Blue from Pontiac was it was a different color name in Chevy, but the same paint code. There wasn't that many different paints. People thought it was different. There was a lot of different car, but
the few people that have come by a few of my customers that have come by and saw it. They all think that's because that's kind of a weird color, don't you think, or color of the car? And I said, that's just the primer, dude. Don't worry, just relax.
Yeah.
So,
What color are you going to paint it?
if I ever paint it, I don't know. I'd be afraid to, but it'd be the original color, midnight metallic blue, dark metallic blue. I would.
By the way,
huh?
Go. I was going to say, by the way, that Mustang video I sent you had a lot of weird Mustang facts in it that were, and some cool pictures. The only problem I'm having is a lot of these videos now, they're doing them with AI, and the graphic isn't matching what they're talking about a lot of times. It's like, fuck, man, you played it already. Just put it in the right spot. You know?
Yeah, they. Yeah, but I would paint it back to the original. I don't think I could ever see the car any other color than the original.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I like it.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Let me get a little closer. Hold on.
Yeah, it's darker than that.
Yeah, Brian's is darker. Brian's is like that Night Watch blue I was talking about. It's it's darker, more inky.
Yeah.
I just went to look at a 66 GTO with a friend yesterday. The car is a white convertible, blue top, blue interior, and interestingly enough, it's a column shift automatic with bucket seats and no console. So they did make them because the 3-speed manual was the standard transmission on the floor with no console. Console and buckets were always extra, and the automatic was an option. And it came on the column unless you specified floor. And if you wanted it on the floor, you got the console, but you could get the bucket seats without it. So it's a rarity. In my mind, not the most desirable rarity, but the car also had very other few options. So it was kind of it probably was a fairly rare car.
Did they have a Marty run on it?
No, they don't do more. PHS, Pontiac Historical Services.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
GTO.
It's the equivalent of the Marty report.
Yeah, well, also, they don't do Marty reports. And it's got to be 67
or newer.
All right, here you go.
Newer.
That's more like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Actually, since I got my new phone, I lost so many pictures.
I'll send you my Macho Man Brian folder. I got a folder on all you guys, so don't laugh.
Oh, no. I know, I gave you more pictures.
That's great to know. You got files on us all. You started a file.
I do.
FBI.
Ways of making you talk.
But what I was going to say is, I found out that this car was a repaint, and it was an older repaint. It was a lacquer repaint because it was cracking. But the car had originally been Night Watch blue, which was that nice darker blue, and it came with the lighter blue interior and a white top. I'm like, wow, that's a nice combination. Somewhere along the line, somebody went for the white body with the blue top and the blue interior, which I also think is really nice. But either way, it would have been it's a nice looking ride. But
yeah.
All right, guys, I got to bail.
All right, Jim. Have a good week.
Turn into pumpkin. See you guys later.
all right.
Be safe.
All right, so I'm gonna pull up a video that I took at Studio Hot Rods, and this Mustang is one of those kit bodies that somebody bought from, I think he said Korea, maybe somewhere foreign. Let me pull it up.
What is he getting for those consoles, Lewis, that he's building?
I'm not.
He's frozen.
I was going to say, who froze?
Suspense.
Oh no,
Lewis froze.
yeah.
Gotta shake him.
He'll be back.
So it was my birthday the other day.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Keith.
nice.
I like that.
Where'd you get that from?
I don't know. My brother got me stickers.
Oh,
He goes, happy birthday. And then he got me 250
coasters.
of these. No, that's what I thought, but they're stickers.
Oh, nice. KG's Garage.
Nice.
Cool.
I don't know 250 people to give them to though. So I don't
And
know.
you just got to start sticking them all over the
Hey,
place.
you know
So
what
they
here?
get a phone
Yeah.
call from the police telling you to stop
Yeah.
putting your stickers all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get comments on the YouTube channel. Stop sticking these everywhere.
Like the Biden did that.
Yeah.
Cop cars.
Yeah,
Bumps.
I did that.
Brian, they're going to be able to reuse your ECM out to your truck and just reflash it.
To be really honest, Vince, I know I haven't heard other than I've only heard I've gotten 2 texts and 1 phone call from the guy, and it's been very vague. And I'm like I said, I'm just trying to hold on, and I have no idea. I just want the truck back. I don't even care anymore, and I just hope I can pay for it. That's
feel
all.
bad, brother.
I don't even know how I don't even know how I want to pay for it.
Like I said, Kenworth has had my truck. I dropped it off last Tuesday because I went to Orlando and it derated coming back, and I dropped it off with them Thursday.
Yeah. Like I said, I as a guy that has worked in the field, and I don't want to be that guy. It doesn't do me any good calling him every 10 minutes. I don't want to bug him. But, like I said, I had another distributor. This was a couple months. I mean, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I guess. He had a similar problem. It wasn't the same. It was similar. And by the time they got done with him, it was, $12,000.
Whoa.
And he paid it. And
Burned the truck.
huh?
And burned the truck.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just I don't mean to be wound up about it, but I don't know how I want to pay for it.
You deserve to be wound up about it. This is something that, I mean, listen, if there's ever a reason, this is one right now.
Yeah.
So I just hope either, as I was told, either when I go to go get it, it's either I want to be shocked on how cheap it is,
Or
or
how
I'm just going to be dumbfounded on how expensive it is.
Right.
And hopefully
it's the former, latter.
huh?
Hopefully it's the former, not the latter.
Yeah, well,
Right.
hopefully, I don't know. I'm a little rough around the edges. I'm not as sexy. I don't have the curvy ass anymore, and I don't even think somebody wants one of my kidneys. I've been a little rough on them lately, so I just, like I said, it's really, Vince. I don't even know how you can be. I can barely sit here without bouncing around, and I don't know how you can sit there and because I know, like I said, we had another guy. He had the same problem with his freight shaker. It was the DEF heater element or whatever, and it was literally like 4 months that he was without a truck.
Wow.
Well, that's part of that. If you go, like I shared the thing with Ray, it's a EPA issued where they're pretty much stepping in to the point with all of these manufacturers.
We're going into his.
We'll play the video.
Oh no, go ahead. I'll pause it. Go ahead, finish.
No, the EPA under Lee Zeldin has stepped in and told these manufacturers, listen, like Brian just said, these guys have got trucks that are sitting there for months on end waiting for parts. When the manufacturer who has priority rights over the ECMs and stuff, they can go in there and make it run and go, okay, stop all this derate, stop all this shutting it off crap, make the truck run until they get the parts in to fix the problem, because it's not Brian's fault. It's not my fault that the DEF pump in my truck took a left chat, but
right.
So they're coming in saying, you need to get in there and you need to make these trucks run. You need to make them so that they'll operate. when the parts come in to fix this crap, bring them in, fix it stuff, and then redo it. But they're saying this is crazy that you've got, you know, buddy of mine with a Freightliner as well had one. Same thing, dev system, something went wrong with it, and he ended up doing a little different, but it sat there for a couple of weeks until he went, all right, I got to do something. And like I said, they've had mine for a week. And finally today, because I've been, like Brian said, I'm giving them room, but I'm going, dude, it's been a week and I hadn't heard anything. What's going on? My business has stopped. I need to know something. So,
yeah, I'm still having problems with my bus. I got to take it to the international dealer here and see if I can get my money back because they misdiagnosed. I took the injector that they said was bad back to the company that made it, and they checked it and said it was fine. So
I don't. You know, I again, this is where I get with the regulations and rules and you know, guidelines and, you know, protection and safety. I understand all that, but when you take the trucking industry, it's something that carries and keeps our country moving forward, and just kill us.
Yeah.
You know, diesel is the lowest form of petroleum. That's a byproduct of gas, but it's got to be $2 more than gas.
Yep.
It's all the added charges they put on there.
Oh, I understand. I mean, I do understand that too, Papa Squirrel. That you know, you got to pay.
California hates diesels.
Oh yeah, well they all do. They all hate them. And
not like California.
They said, well, Maryland's not too far behind. Trust me. And you know, they say that our big trucks kill. You know, we have to pay more in road tax because we're killing the roads or whatever. You know, I understand some of that to the point, but when you physically take a company and kill them, they're going. I mean, this I could go out of business because of this. Yeah. And even if I even said, okay, fine, I'm gonna go buy a new truck, I don't want to get in debt for a $180,000 truck.
Right, because you got to make that payment.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
it's just
mind-boggling.
What do you think of that bad boy?
That's a
big banana.
That's yellow.
But you know that yellow looks good on there. This Chevelle is one of the only ones that can really take this color and make it look good. It's really looking good. What do you
Corvettes that don't do bad with that color.
67.
My man Ray's going to appreciate this one.
That's a 67 goat, yeah.
Got the
Can you hear me on the video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful.
Isn't that rally ones, Ray? I mean,
yeah, they are.
No tri-power under there, guys.
So
67
these are customers they bring their cars in and have them worked on.
That's a nice big shop.
This is one part of here is pretty nice.
Firebird. I'm looking for. Nice.
That Mustang and a Firebird.
So here's it going on. This is the detail section.
Big shop.
That's the Mustang that started up. Ooh, listen to the beast. Sounds pretty good, right?
Nice.
Fairlane. So look at this Ford.
Falcon.
Fairlane.
The Fairlane?
Got a roll cage in, it's convertible. Look at how nice the paint is. They do a great job here. I forget what motor it had in it. It's a pretty big motor though. Yeah, I forget what motor he said was in this, but it's a monster.
Can you squeeze the big block in those guys?
You got to take shock towers out.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Actually, they took it out this morning and it was sounding pretty good. All right, let's go over to the paint section. See what's going on over here. That part was just where they work on cars. That's not like the fabricating part. All right, let's take a look at the motor. It's sounding pretty good. That's you, Brian.
Yeah.
And they got the Eagles playing. They got
Let's
some
take a
like
look at the
slow
paint section real quick.
listening
Best
rock.
of my love.
Yeah.
Tell me what you
Yeah.
think in the comments. If you're liking what I'm showing you, we'll keep doing this kind of stuff as we
This is the
travel.
paint area.
I want you to really look at this paint. So it's like a gray, bluish, but when you
Got
see it
ponytails
in
on
different light, it changes. Like it has some purple in it. At one point, we're seeing some orange. But look at that.
And that's the kit car that they bought from, I think he
Pretty
said
sweet.
Korea.
So let me turn this around real quick. So
I don't know.
this car here is one of those from Taiwan, I believe he said. Taiwan remade this body. So they put it all together, and they had a lot of problems with the fit and finish. Nothing fit right. Like the doors didn't fit right, the hood, the fenders,
That's
everything.
not a
They had to
Dynacore
do
body, is it?
400 hours
No.
of messing with it.
There's couple cheapies.
And
There's
Harry
some
was
real
saying
cheap
that
companies.
you might be,
I've
you'd
heard the
probably be better
Dynacore
off
stuff is
buying
pretty good.
a car
Yeah.
that's rusty
Well, no, he
and
said they got it from
decent shape and
Taiwan.
redoing that, because they got so many hours in just fixing, making it fit. So keep that in mind if you're going to buy one of these cars from Taiwan or Japan or wherever.
100%
But it looks pretty
Chinese.
good once they got it done. They got it all painted. There's other parts over here.
What's the body shop rate?
150
So I
an
can't
hour.
see.
And he's
I
got
don't know
what,
if you can see the
300 hours in
difference
it?
with this. Let me try to zoom in.
I think he said 400.
I don't know if you can see the different colors as you move.
It's cool. I mean, it's a cool color.
Yeah.
But beautiful paint. Look at that. Now yesterday he just painted all this stuff yesterday, or cleared it. He was clearing it when we were here.
That's a Chevelle or an A body.
That's
Oh, yeah.
like a 69.
Look at this.
Woo. Ellis.
That's a beautiful thing.
They had a
Look at the
firewall
suspension.
booth.
QA1. Yeah, he's putting it together. So if you like this content that I'm putting together right now, stopping at different shops, I'm gonna try to. That's a wrap.
Cool.
You even
Those are
freeze on
beautiful
film.
cars.
If I can turn it back on to. Wait a minute.
The only thing I hate about you stopping at different shops and showing that is I get so jealous. All those nice cars that I can't play with.
Wait, I didn't show you. I didn't show you the front section. Hold on, let me pull that up. Give me a sec.
Did you get your AC fixed, Coach?
Yeah, it was. We got it fixed Saturday. Saturday evening, they were here a little after 7 in the morning, and they got finished at about 5:30 in the evening.
Wow, what was the problem?
I don't know what happened with the
Alright.
original AC. They said they think it had a leak, but we come to find out that AC unit was originally put in 2001, and the old R122, it would have cost thousands to refill it, and that's without trying to pinpoint wherever there was a pinhole or something.
Yeah.
And so we ended up buying a whole brand new system, and yeah, the whole day was they brought a crane in, took the old unit out, put the new unit out there for them to work on the new condenser and stuff, and then they had one guy working on that outside while the other guy was inside rebuilding the taking apart the old HVAC cabinet on the inside and putting a new one, but yeah, it blows really cool. It runs smooth. Now it's got a brand new, so with the whole setup we got. They put a brand new digital smart thermostat in, and right after they left, it was set to 72, but then it reset itself as it got cooler in the house and stopped at 78. And then we were trying to figure it out, and I was reading the manual, but I was getting frustrated with it, so I had my wife look at it, and I said, can you figure this out and read it? I'm dyslexic, so sometimes when I'm reading stuff, I can read and my comprehension's high, but the problem is I got to read it like 10 times over, because it looks like a jumble of stuff, of words or whatever. And after about 5 times of reading a paragraph, say in a book, it all comes together and it makes sense, but it takes several times to do that. So I had her read it because she doesn't have that issue, and so we messed with it and we got it set, and it's been blowing nice and cold. It was perfect timing too, because I guess on Sunday it was 105.
Nice.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a big boy.
That's good.
So look at the lights under the hood. See, this is the kind of stuff he makes.
That's cool.
Shines down.
Yeah,
the
so
hood,
he does a
shut your
lot
car
of
off.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to do something like that on my car. I just don't know what light.
I like that interior too.
And look at the lights on the dash.
Oh, the edge light.
Yeah.
Now he could turn that. He could turn the lights down,
So
so
it
it's
creates
just like a
all the
real
lighting.
faint light.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet, right?
Change colors.
Yeah, that's
No,
beautiful.
no, you're good. You're good.
La Chevelle.
I believe this is a customer
Yeah,
car.
that's his
70.
thing.
Oh, there you
This
go,
is his
Brian.
personal car.
Yeah, that's
Just several
beautiful.
years ago,
There
he
you
said.
go.
So he bought that
That's
a
sweet.
couple
That
years
is.
ago. He said that's his personal car.
All original.
Who does have taste? Cool.
68.
68, baby. What do you think? Now,
Man,
this Chevelle over here.
That car there has a
is
diesel.
beast.
Oh, geez. It looks like it should have a diesel. It's
Yeah.
not.
So this
He
car
said-
here
he
has
said it just takes it to beat it.
Cummins diesel in it. 5.9.
A 70 Chevelle
And this
SS.
is a car
Door Max.
or Duramax, I'm sorry. There you go.
Oh, man. One of the most desirable Chevelles.
69,
These are the cars he's building. These are
67.
customer cars here.
I like that Camaro.
Yeah.
What do you think? So in the comments, tell me what you think. And tell me if you watched any of his videos, because he's
Another
on
70.
YouTube as well. You
57.
can check out his
57,
channel,
baby.
Studio Hot Rods. 57.
That 57 is his personal car.
I think this is his personal car as well. See what he's doing. Roadster.
That's nice.
Ooh,
32. I'd love to have that, but I think my head would be sticking out too far.
yeah.
This is his personal Chevelle.
69.
So you like Chevelles?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, is that a big boy or what?
Man.
I think that one will talk to you on the road.
So in here you can see he has the stereo cup holders that they do. Nice Corvette up there.
Another 70.
Is this the same guy that does the consoles that he sent one to Terry?
Yeah. Yep.
Man, yeah. Those consoles are nice.
Back here is his shop where they
What's-
do a lot of customer work back there. But up
What's the
here
name of his
doing
shop,
the
Louis?
fabricating,
Studio
wiring,
Hot Rod.
stereos.
Check him
Might
out
have
on
to reach
top
out to him with the console in my car.
I'm curious what he gets for those consoles.
GT40.
Isn't that beautiful?
Ford
It might
GT.
say on his
By
website.
color too. So he has all the big boy equipment.
That's where all the magic happens.
Like the
Yeah.
63 Impala rear.
Infalo.
I need one of those. What do you think?
I want the whole car.
The man's doing it. Yeah, right. Okay, let me show you over here. Here is his 3D printing section. So this is where they 3D print. He's actually printing some stuff right now. And so, like he makes, so that replaces this lid, right? So you get your cup holders. See, this is the raw coming out of the machine, and then that's after they massage it. So they're actually printing.
Finish, yeah.
So they're printing parts right now. Let's see what they're printing. 3D printers are great. This is inspiring me to do more.
That's insane. That's
The
awesome.
electronic stuff over there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Call my man, Harry. Yep. And that's it.
Too many things I'd like. 3D printer.
Laser. He had a big laser table too.
Wow.
Yeah,
A big one, probably 4x8 laser table.
Wonder if he's
Yeah.
got the ability to scan stuff and then convert it into a 3D.
Yep.
Like a 3D print it, and then once it's right in a printer, take that where you could actually machine it, put it in like a 3-axis CNC, and then do it in the metal or aluminum or.
Yeah, he had it there. He had a scanner. Then that just before I went into the 3D printing room, those machines there were the CNCs.
Yeah.
Because there's certain pieces and parts on some of these old Mercs that they're unobtainium. You cannot find them. You cannot get them. And if you've got one that's a decent piece, if you could scan it, 3D print it, make sure that it's right. And then once you have all the details right, then you take the file, and then it's, then you have it, let the CNC do the work.
Yeah.
Because like I
Or
said,
you
I've
3D
had guys
print
off.
You can 3D print it with metal. You can do that now too.
Yeah.
He
had some there.
What's the I've seen some durability questions on the 3D printing it with metal versus, I don't know enough about the subject, because that was one thought, was to have it done in metal, but
Yeah, it wouldn't be as strong. It wouldn't be as strong 3D printing it, but it's getting better. Like 3 years ago, it was garbage. Now you can use it. So in the next 3 or 4 years, it will be good.
I probably wouldn't 3D print suspension parts, but some interior part.
Yeah.
No, this is like exterior trim pieces and parts.
Yeah, trim.
Oh, so yeah, but then so aluminum trim parts, or maybe stainless.
Well, like I said, a lot of the stuff on these cars was originally done in pot metal, which pot metal was just that. The crap that they had lay over, they just threw it in the thing and melted it and then cast it. That's why they called it pot metal. Right. It might be tin, it might be stainless, it might just be steel. It's whatever they had, aluminum. They just threw it in there and smelted it all together and poured it.
Yeah, so you could probably do that stuff out of aluminum.
I just 3D printed this, and it's carbon fiber.
Nice. Cool. What? So does it cut stuff? Can you, like, piece of paper will cut through it?
No, it's for sticking, not cutting.
Sharp enough? Oh. I just wonder how sharp it is. That's all.
Hey, it's sharp enough to stick somebody when you want to back them up.
There you go, Lewis.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look for that STL file. I can go print one. I don't have carbon though. We'll be out of plastic.
This is what I have. It works too. It's a pen.
Yeah, but see what's nice about this is you can keep it in your pocket, carry it into where metal detector.
It won't go off.
Yeah.
It won't go off.
Yep. Carbon fiber.
I had a carbon fiber knife that I used to take with me when I flew on airplanes years ago. And then I decided it wasn't worth it because I didn't want to get patted down and have them
Yeah.
find it, especially since I was active duty at the time.
Oh
That would
yeah.
have not gone over well.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many of those little Swiss Army knives my dad had taken away. He would have in his pocket. He'd walk through and through the metal detector, and like, you can't take this on. He goes, "It's a small little knife. Like, you can't take it." And they would put it in the pile. And it's like, Dad, why do you keep doing this? It's like the fourth time. You just keep bringing them on. You know, you can't bring him in here on the plane. The other one went in to go see a hockey game, and he had it on. I'm like, what do you? Come on.
Yeah. I
Let
lost
me
a
go
couple
every
going
time.
to in Vegas. I lost a couple going to nightclubs. I forgot to take it off, and oh, you can't go in there with it. So I tried to hide it outside, and they always come up missing.
Yeah.
Put in the bushes somewhere.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. My wife did the same thing. Tried to hide it in the bush.
Oh man. Yep.
Well, my wife's got a nice ballpoint pen, all metal ballpoint pen that is legal to take on airplanes.
Yeah.
And like she says, if they don't think that's not a weapon, they've never used it.
All you need is a pencil. Just look at John Wick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had to put a hurting on you.
They wouldn't let her bring in. What was it they wouldn't let her bring? It was something ridiculous. And she said, but this pen is legal? Oh, yeah, it's legal. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, we used to sell a tactical pen, and that's the same thing. It was stainless. It was steel, whatever. I can't remember what type of metal, but it had, the ball bearing came down to a point, and it was. I tell you one thing. I know it would stick in you.
I carried one when I was driving the bus. I had it hooked right here in my collar. So if I ever had to get somebody off me, man, them things, whew, you hit some soft tissue with one of those, boy, you're going to know it.
It's not a weapon. It's a tool. It's got
That's right.
a pen in it. You can write.
Writing instrument. Yeah.
Yep. Matter of fact, I got to find out where I put it because I'm going to start carrying it.
Well, she has hers in her back pocket all the time because she likes to carry a pen in her back pocket. She used to break them every time she sat down.
Yeah.
She saw the ad for this, as self-defense. And she got it and liked it.
That'll stick right into the car seat. It won't break.
Yeah, I have a little L-shaped piece in my Impala passenger seat because my buddy got in my car with a pen in his back pocket.
Yep.
Yeah.
Screwdriver will do the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't let you bring a screwdriver onto an airplane because, oh my God, that's a weapon.
That's a weapon. Yep.
No, it's a tool, you idiots. So I'm glad I don't fly much anymore, damn it.
Yeah.
I got to download off my camera the videos from Greg's hot rod shop. You guys enjoy that one too. Really nice shop.
My wife wants to go to SEMA this year so she can look at the new tools.
Yeah.
Because she loves that. That's a nice thing about being married to her. I don't have to worry about entertaining her. Take her to a gun shop or tool shop or
There you go.
something like that. She's perfectly happy. She doesn't want to go to a ballet or a play because that's boring.
All right. At Chevelle, when we woke up the next morning, we went into Greg's shop. They're pulling out a Chevelle. You'll like this one.
I liked all those cars you were showing us.
For some reason, Sam's having problems sharing that page. Hold on. Try it again.
Where's Terry been lately? He hadn't been on here.
He jumped on last week for a few minutes.
Must have been the time that I left.
Yeah, he's been down, not feeling good for a minute too.
Mm.
So he's getting back to normal.
He's not getting a relapse of the COVID virus again, is he?
Of the what?
The COVID. Just got another variety running around.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I know I fell asleep a couple of times in the back.
Oh, backstage.
Yeah, backstage.
No, we had you on one time and you were asleep on the screen. I was like, he's not moving. Let me take him off.
Well, that's like I said, because I was backstage and my ex had called me. My ex had called me right when the show started, so that's why I didn't turn the light and everything on. So she was wanting me to do some stuff. So, okay, that's fine. So then the show ripped off there, and I was backstage still, and I was like, all right, you get to me or whatever.
Yeah, it's not letting me bring it up. So I'll try to have something for you next week. But Greg's shop was really nice.
So this week I'm going to be doing hopefully cattle converters. So I'll be calling Ray, complaining about cattle converters on a van.
What fun!
Yeah.
I should be having Kenny Wessel on. He's
okay.
Trying to come on this week, but call him, talk to him because he's a great source. That's Wrenching with Kenny on YouTube. Does a lot of great repair videos out of the shop and out of his house. And now he does a lot of them. He talks a lot of them as he's driving to or from. He's about an hour from work. But he's supposed to come on this week.
After you had said that, Ray, one of his videos popped up in my feed, so I'm like, the phone must be listening to
That's weird.
to Mr. Ray.
Yeah, Kenny's a good guy. Knows his stuff. And he hates Mac tools.
Yeah,
He's not shy to talk about it.
I don't know about that. I was always partial to my Mac tools after I run my Snap-on dealer out.
I don't have many. The ones I have, I actually do like. But the issue with the Mac is the guys just ain't coming. They don't come around and service their customers.
I'm that way now, Ray. I've got a small drawer full of broken Mac tools right now that I was having trouble trying to find somebody to service the tools.
Well, I'll tell you this. I did on Brian's request. I had a ratchet wrench that was not reversing, and I got in touch with Mac on their website. You can write them or call them, and they got back to me. And they said that, the wrenches are discontinued, but they are lifetime warranted. I'm like, okay. So a couple of weeks went by, and they actually sent me a replacement. It's kind of ironic because I'll show you what they did. Let me just switch over here.
You send me the videos from Greg's speech.
All right, so let me do this, and where are we here? Where's the? Well, that's not right.
Well, hey guys, I'm gonna jump off in my bedtime.
All right, Lewis.
All right, Lewis.
Take
See you later.
Hey, Lewis.
Yes.
Quick question. You sent me that. You sent me that video on Messenger about a day or so ago. The Cleveland or the Youngstown. Did you get my response?
No, I have to go back and look.
Yeah, when you get a chance, look, because it's about one of the ones named had a ranch down here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then Mr. Bonanno from New York, he had left when he had to get out of New York permanently. He was down here, and there's a whole thing. I'll talk about it off air, but there was a whole thing. I sent you an article.
Okay, I'll check it out.
All right.
Oh, wait, what happened? I put Brian up. Hold on.
Wrenching with Brian.
Screen.
All right. Yeah, I'll check it out. I sent him to Ray too. There's a lot of history here, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt. I was surprised. Yeah, definitely surprised.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll see you next week. I'll try to have a guest. I'm working on a couple of people I'm trying to get on. So.
All right, Lewis. I'm going to see if Kenny wants to come on too. I'll see if I can pitch him as well.
Okay, sounds
St.
good.
Louis?
All right.
All right.
Night, Louis.
Everybody have a safe
Take
night.
care. Be safe.
All right.
Dude.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna end the stream too. Okay, everybody, we do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. So tell everybody that we do this and we talk about everything, as you can see. So we'll be back next week, Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern.